The twin suns of Drukhar Prime beat down mercilessly on the crystalline wastelands, turning the shattered glass plains into a furnace that would kill most oxygen-breathing species within hours. Kivin had been traveling through this hellscape for 3 days, his environmental suit's cooling system whining in protest, when he spotted something that made him stop his hover truck dead in its tracks. A child. A Drukhari child no more than 5 solar cycles old huddled beneath an outcropping of melted stone. Kivin killed the engine and stared through the heat shimmer. The Drukhari were the dominant species on this world, proud, scaled beings who could breathe fire and whose natural armor could deflect plasma rounds. They were warriors, conquerors, the self-proclaimed masters of this sector. And they despised humans. So what was one of their children doing alone in the wastelands? Against every survival instinct screaming in his head, Kivin grabbed his emergency water pack and stepped out into the inferno. The heat hit him like a physical blow even through his suit. He approached slowly, hands visible the way one might approach a wounded animal. The child, a girl he could see now, had iridescent purple scales that caught the light like scattered jewels. Her wings, still small and underdeveloped, were wrapped protectively around her small frame. But what struck Kivin most were her eyes, golden, terrified, and filled with a pain no child should ever know. "Hey there," he said softly in trade standard, kneeling a safe distance away.
"My name's Kivin. Are you hurt?"
The girl hissed weakly, a pathetic sound compared to the battle roars adult Drukhari could produce. She tried to scuttle backward but collapsed, exhausted. That's when Kivin saw the brand on her shoulder, a symbol he recognized from his years farming the borderlands. Cursed One, a genetic defect, the Drukhari called it. Children born without the ability to breathe fire were considered abominations, bad omens. They were taken to the wastelands and left to die. "Damn them," Kivin muttered. He'd always known the Drukhari were harsh, but this was beyond cruel. He moved closer, speaking in low, soothing tones. "I know you can't understand all my words, but I promise I won't hurt you. You'll die out here if you stay. Let me help." The girl's eyes flickered between him and the water pack in his hands. Dehydration was overriding fear. When he opened the pack and held it out, she lunged forward, drinking desperately. The water was gone in seconds. "That's it," Kivin said gently. "Now I'm going to pick you up, okay? We need to get you out of this heat." She didn't resist when he scooped her fragile body into his arms. She weighed almost nothing. Back in the truck's climate-controlled cabin, he gave her more water, this time slower while running a medical scanner over her. Severe dehydration, malnutrition, and exposure. But alive. She would survive. The girl looked up at him with those golden eyes, and Kivin made a decision that would change both their lives forever. "How about Anna?" he said, smiling. "That's a human name. Fresh start for a fresh life. What do you say?" She tilted her head, not understanding, but something in his tone must have reached her because she didn't pull away when he gently placed a hand on her head. 7 solar cycles passed. Anna stood at the edge of the farm, watching the crystalline fields where Kivin had planted his experimental crops. Hardy earth grains modified to survive Drukhar Prime's brutal environment. At 12 cycles old, she was tall for her age, her scales now a deep amethyst that shimmered in the dying light. Her wings had grown strong enough for short flights. Though she still couldn't achieve the sustained flight of normal Drukhari, she couldn't breathe fire either. She never would. But Anna had learned that humans had a saying, "When one door closes, another opens." Kivin had taught her that. He'd taught her many things: how to read, how to repair machinery, how to coax life from dead soil. He'd taught her that worth wasn't measured in fire or fighting prowess, but in kindness, determination, and the courage to be different. "Anna!" Kivin's voice called from the homestead. "Dinner's ready." She smiled and turned toward home. Home. That word had taken on such meaning over the cycles. The small prefab structure had been a bachelor's lonely outpost when she'd arrived. Now it had colorful curtains she'd helped choose, a garden with earth vegetables and Drukhari spice plants growing side by side, and drawings she'd made covering the refrigeration unit. At dinner, Kivin placed a plate of roasted grain cakes and protein before her, a fusion of human and Drukhari cuisine he'd perfected over the years. "There's a trader coming by tomorrow," he said casually. "Says he's got news from the capital." Anna's fork paused halfway to her mouth. News from the capital meant news about other Drukhari. Despite everything, she sometimes wondered about her birth people. Did they ever regret what they'd done? Did any of them realize what they'd thrown away? As if reading her thoughts, Kevin reached across and squeezed her hand. His human hand was soft compared to her scaled one, but the warmth in the gesture transcended species. "You know what makes humans special, Anna?" he asked, his eyes twinkling. "We're not the strongest species. We can't breathe fire or fly or survive extreme temperatures naturally. But we're stubborn. We adapt, we endure. And most importantly, we believe everyone deserves a chance." "Is that why you saved me?" Anna asked quietly. "I saved you because it was the right thing to do," Kevin replied. "But I kept you, I chose you because you're family. And humans don't abandon family." Anna felt the familiar sting of tears. Drakari didn't cry often, but Kevin had taught her that tears weren't weakness. They were proof of feeling, of caring, of being alive. "Thank you, Papa," she whispered, using the human word she'd learned long ago. Outside, the twin suns finally set, painting the wastelands in shades of amber and gold. Somewhere in those crystalline fields, other cursed children might be dying, abandoned by a society that valued power over potential. But Anna was home, and tomorrow she and Kevin would wake up and tend their impossible garden, growing life where others saw only death. It was, she thought, the most human thing in the universe, and she was proud to learn it from the best human she knew,